Hello, heathens, and welcome to episode 6 of Cult News. Apologies I didn't show up last week. There just wasn't enough news. There was like 2 articles that I would have been interested in reading for you, so I just waited another week. Now there's lots. So after this live is over, I am archiving all of these episodes up on the Word Grub YouTube channel. So you can check that out, and I am planning on going live again tonight on my main YouTube channel, which is Hikipedia, and I'm going to be drawing over there if I can get my setup to work, which I'm pretty sure I will be able to. So yeah, I think that's all for updates. I will start now with my first article. So you may remember from past episodes that I have talked about this case a little bit, the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case. This is on the Daily Mail, just Daily Mail, by Harriet Alexander. Everything's going to be revealed soon. Son of cult mom Lori Vallow reveals her chilling response every time he asks where his 2 missing siblings were during months of prison visits before their dismembered bodies were found. Lori Vallow, 48, is due to go on trial in October for the September 2019 murder of her children Tylee, 16, and 7-year-old JJ. Vallow had become obsessed with the idea that her children were possessed and had become zombies and needed killing to free them. She was arrested in February of 2020, and in June that year, the remains of Tylee and JJ were found at the Idaho farm owned by Vallow's 5th husband. Vallow's eldest child, Colby Ryan, 26, on Monday revealed his mother would not tell him where his 2 siblings were until their bodies were found. Ryan said he begged her for 4 months to say, but she only replied that he would find out soon. Vallow faces the death penalty if convicted. Ryan said he found the situation hard, but it was out of my hands and he forgave her. I mean, I don't know how you can say you can forgive someone, but yeah. The only surviving child of California mother accused of murdering her 2 children as part of apocalyptic ritual killing has said she refused to tell him what had happened to them, only saying everything's going to be revealed soon. Colby Ryan, 26, said he was still struggling to accept the charges against his mother, Lori Vallow, 48, who faces the death penalty if convicted of her children's murder. Vallow is due to go on trial in Idaho in October. Ryan's siblings, Tylee, 16, and 7-year-old JJ were found dead in June 2020 at the Idaho farm owned by Vallow's 5th husband, Chad Daybell. He was also on trial for their murder and shared with Vallow doomsday cult beliefs, convinced that Tylee and JJ were possessed and the only way to free them was to kill them. Ryan on Monday said that his mother refused to tell him what happened to his siblings who vanished in September of 2019 for months after their disappearance. That's her there, the mom. And there are some videos in this article, but I'm just going to skip over them because they're old, honestly. Like a court appearance with no voiceover or anything. And those are her 2 victims, her kids. Vallow was arrested along with Daybell in February of 2020. The children's bodies were discovered in June of that year. I asked her 100 times, "What's going on?" Ryan told the U.S. Sun. The only answer I ever got was, "Everything's going to be revealed soon," so I just left. It was always a question mark. You couldn't get a straight answer. Ryan, who has written a new book about his experiences and how his faith has helped him, The God Over Odds, said that he asked her for months where the children were after they vanished in September. Pretty early on, I reached out to my mom, and she was being really shady about it before she cut everybody, including me, off, he said. And then obviously you're going to start questioning, is everyone alive? Are they okay? What if the worst has happened? But you can't think like that. And that's Chad Daybell there on the right. I'm glad they mentioned he's charged as well, because there's a lot of articles about Lori and almost none about Chad Daybell and his involvement. And there's this video.
Okay, so
and you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. He said he never believed his mother, who he was close to, was capable of murder. He never knew his biological father, and he and his mother moved frequently around the country. I think she leaned on me for emotional support, almost like a sidekick, he said. So that kind of forced me to grow up a little bit faster. And her and I just had this bond that was more like friends. She would take me to do fun stuff, she took care of me, and it was just me and her. We kind of faced everything together. He said their bond frayed with her third marriage in 2001 to Joseph Ryan, Tylee's biological father, who physically and sexually abused him. In 2006, Vallow married for a fourth time to Charles Vallow, but her fixation with doomsday cults began to deepen, and Ryan soon moved out. It was kind of early on, Ryan said. I'm not exactly sure when it started, but probably when I was around 11. I was never brought into it, really. I definitely feared it, the end times, because I heard it from her and because I trusted her. But as I grew up, probably around 17 or 18, I was like, I'm just going to live my life the way I can. I can't live a life of impending fear of something happening. I can't live like that. It's an anxious life, so I never bought into any of the ideas that it was going to happen. And a photo of Chad Daybell's property. I don't know if I've seen this one before.
Oh my gosh, Chad freaking Daybell just escaped from his house. There he is! There he is! Chad Daybell!
Oh my god. Please don't record while you're driving, but yeah. When Ryan learned of his mother's crimes, he was overcome with anger. He told The Sun, "They took my family away from me. They took them away from everybody else that loved them," he said. "It's one of the most painful things ever to hear details about how your own people that you grew up around and loved killed your own family." He contemplated finding a way of seeking revenge, but realized it was not the answer. "I was very angry. I was hurt. I was uncomfortable. I was sick to my stomach all the time, and there was just this weight hanging over me," he said. And the father of two said he was constantly aware of the absence of his brother and sister. "I missed them all the time. I wish they were here to experience my family. I just missed their presence, like just being in a house together, having fun, and sharing our lives together. But part of you needs to let go. Because if you're holding on to I just wish you were here, there's almost no movement. You're never getting out of that spot. It just keeps you in that graveyard. So I love them and miss them all the time, and I also have to take an acceptance that they're not here." And that was definitely hard. His mother could face the death penalty if convicted, something Ryan said is hard to accept, but an inescapable fact. "It's hard to hear that they would do that to my mom," he said, "but again, it's out of my hands and always has been. I've given up the fact that no matter what happens, it's not going to change anything. So I know they're in jail, I know they can't hurt anybody, and that's the best I can possibly ask for." Then I think I've been over all of these, or most of them, in previous articles. So yeah, that's that on the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell case. Okay, I haven't watched this video yet, but this is on The Sun US, I think, by Imogen Braddock, I think is how you say it. "Living with the devil. My father was a cult leader pedophile with 9 wives and 64 kids. I didn't even know who my mom was until I was 5. And it'll say pretty early on here, but this lady is from a reality show. I don't know who this is, but I thought it might be interesting.
Back in paradise, and Osher has set up a round of blind dating for me to be able to pick a guy to go on a date.
Come on with me. I have something very special for all of you. Here we go. All right, Cupid.
Flowers and whatnot and a chair, so I'm reckoning there's some blind date stuff going on here.
Yeah, you slide dog.
Okay, that was a pointless clip. It's gonna autoplay something. Just stop.
I would predominantly just...
Okay. A TV star revealed how her dad was a cult leader, pedophile with 9 wives and 64 children, and she didn't know who her mom was until she was 5. Kira Maguire, 35, who starred on Australian TV show The Bachelor, was born in a polygamous cult with her dad, Alista Lyshkochav at the helm, and he is super creepy looking. Alistair L. set up the cult in the 1970s. I mean, set up is like a weird way to put it. Really gross, disgusting. Just seeing any picture of a guy like this with a load of kids is like, it's so disturbing. Lyshkochav founded the bizarre cult known as the Seaside Sect. This is her here. Kira McGuire, 35, blah, 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 I already said that. Kira distanced herself from the convicted pedophile and former cop who founded the bizarre cult known as the Seaside Sect in the 1970s. He set up the cult in Australia's Byron Bay and settled with 9 wives who all reportedly slept in one large bedroom and 64 children. Born in Auckland in New Zealand, Vallow Lyshkochav changed his name from Ian Lowe when he moved to Australia in 1969. That's much easier to say, so that's too bad. He reportedly boasted in an interview in 1992, King Solomon had so many wives. I'm not that greedy, surely. He had 70 wives and 500 concubines. When it comes to women, I'm selfish. Ugh, he's so nasty. I don't think I'm more special than any other man, and I believe any man can do what I do and satisfy 4 to 5 women a night. When asked if he would take more, he said, "You never know." Footage from 1992 showed Lyshkochav, who is said to have believed he was Jesus Christ, of course, singing and playing the guitar surrounded by his wives. One of his former wives reportedly said the one unbreakable rule in the household was loyalty to Alistair. I feel like an idiot pronouncing it like that. It's like spelled like a rapper's name or something. If it comes up again, I'm just going to say Alistair. And one of Lyshkochav's wives was Kira's mother, Michelle. Footage taken in 1992 showed Michelle defending her decision to live as part of the weird cult, but in the end she left when Kira was 5. Kira told Daily Mail Australia, "Alistair Lyshkochav is not relevant to who I am, nor does he define me." She also praised her mom and grandma for raising her in a loving, caring, and compassionate household in Brisbane. Kira said, "I had a wonderful childhood and I am extremely grateful to both my mother and grandmother for the upbringing which they provided me and my siblings. Although I have since met and reunited with my family, I have never had a relationship with Alistair L. L married his first wife in a Mormon church when he was 25, where he was introduced to the concept of polygamy. He was reportedly described by his harem of wives as the controller." Kira spoke about her experience of the cult when she appeared on the Australian version of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2017. Not normal. She told fellow campmate Lisa Curry, "I don't know if you know my story, but my mom was in a cult. My dad was the leader of it. There was like 63 children. You've got to remember there were 9 wives." I mean, even nine women and 60-something kids is like an average of 7 kids per woman, which is a lot. I didn't know who my real mom was until I was like 6. I didn't even know what a mom was. I just knew that I wasn't normal and really didn't like that. Lyshkochav was jailed in 2000 at the age of 71 after he was found guilty of 20 child sex offenses and 1 charge of reckless injury. It was reported his 4 victims were aged between 7 and 11 at the time of the offending. During the trial, one of the young victims reportedly told the court that Lyshkochav molested her every other day. The cult has disbanded in 1993 after the horrific offenses came to light and he was charged. Lyshkochav died in prison in April 2012. In an interview with The Project in 2016, Kira said she feared she would be judged if she told anyone about her family history. She said, "Even in relationships with guys, I never opened up about it because I didn't want them to judge me because I'm not normal. I didn't know who my mom was until I was 5. It sounds strange, but it's just what it was." I don't know why they had to repeat that like 4 times. "I didn't even have birthdays. I think I had my first birthday when I was 7. For other people, it might be really sad, but it's not because it's my story." Ugh, he's so nasty. And that's the end of that. I've never heard of that group before. I would be interested to know more about their beliefs other than polygamy. So yeah, that's the Seaside Sect. Another TV show related article here. All of the Welcome to Plathville cult rumors explained on Screen Rant by Jennifer O'Brien. Many Welcome to Plathville fans are wondering if there is any truth to the cult rumors about the Plath family. These rumors are nothing new. Families of Welcome to Plathville are often thought that members of the Plath family could be part of a cult. But how true is that line of thinking? Kim and Barry Plath often come across as being extremely devout, and their dedication to religion has left a bad taste in their older kids' mouths. Now, fans are trying to get to the bottom of some of the cult rumors. There is no doubt that Kim and Barry, who may divorce someday, have raised their children with some weird rules. I don't know why it says who may divorce someday. It's like a linked article. I don't know. Maybe they said they were going to file for divorce. I don't know. Welcome to Plathville viewers were surprised to learn that Kim and Barry grew up in very normal circumstances. Both went to concerts, ate junk food, and even went to college. However, when it came to bringing up their children, they decided against allowing them access to sugar, TV, or outsiders. These decisions led many fans to wonder if the Plaths secretly belong to some kind of religious cult. They do. It's not a secret. They're in like a fundamentalist church. There's lots of allegations of like child beating and stuff like that. Viewers immediately became concerned when they first met the Plaths and saw how they lived a very secluded lifestyle away from the temptations of the modern world. During the first episode, fans were introduced to the blonde children who never seemed to question Kim and Barry's strange lifestyle. Fans took to social media to ask themselves if the Plath parents were trying to lure them into a cult. Lure the fans or the kids? Because the kids are already in it by default. There is little doubt that the family's bizarre rules needed improvement, but it seemed like Kim and Barry interpreted the Bible literally. The Plaths often claim that they adhere to religious scriptures which told them to refrain from drinking, smoking, and eating sweets. So the eating sweets thing surprised me. Like, I get not smoking, and like, sure, a lot of religions, you're not allowed to drink alcohol either. But you're just not allowed to eat anything good? Like, why do you want to be miserable? As the seasons continued, viewers wondered if the family dynamic was really the result of religious beliefs, as it was noted that control was a big factor in how Kim ran her family. While she is not a cult leader, her manipulative tendencies raised a few warning flags with Welcome to Plathville viewers. Even though Kim and Barry lived semi-normal lives, it felt like they had major abandonment issues, which they projected onto their own children. One major example of this was when Kim and Barry became angry with Ethan for forming his own ideas about moving out and getting married. Some fans felt that the argument reminded them of those who lived in the FLDS community and blindly followed their leader. While the Plaths may not be in a cult, they are Christian fundamentalists who practice Southern Baptist religious traditions. According to those doctrines, members read the Bible literally. There is no doubt that the Welcome to Plathville stars Kim and Barry use religion to control their children. They have also been linked to the No Greater Joy ministries, which promoted controversial parenting techniques. Yeah, it's a cult. Like, it's a high control group, and they tend to not associate with anyone outside of the group, so... Oh boy, we were like flying through these. I think one of the podcasts I listened to, Someplace Underneath, has covered some Plath stuff, but I might be confusing that with some other things. All right. So I've seen this young lady before on TikTok. I don't go on TikTok really at all. I think I've gone on it like a couple times, but I did happen to see her before. So this is on New York Post by Adriana Diaz. I lived in an ultra-religious cult where being sick was God's punishment. Yeah, we can watch this.
And I was adopted by a family that was deeply... When I was 10, I was adopted by a family that was deeply immersed in the ATI Basic Life Principles cult run by Bill Gothard that was made famous by the Duggars. Everyone in the cult went through the Basic Life Principles seminar and lived their lives according to the principles that Bill Gothard taught. No TV, no music, no pop culture, and that the dad in the home was the absolute authority on everything. Several of you have asked, did I know that I was in a cult? And the answer is no. I did not know I was in a cult until I was a sophomore in college and I was talking to my therapist.
Yeah, I wonder if her parents are already in the group when they adopted her, because you would think that, like, the social workers or children's aid, whatever organization it is, would have, like, detected that. Okay, a 28-year-old woman who was raised in an ultra-religious Christian cult has been sharing her story on TikTok. Elizabeth Hunter was raised by her adopted parents in Texas in an organization called the Institute in Basic Life Principles and its homeschooling arm, the Advanced Training Institute. The conservative ministry, founded by Bill Gothard and made popular by reality TV stars Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. I know, I'm absolutely shocked that there's actual people out there named Jim Bob. Boggles the mind, but that is his legal name, as far as I know. Includes teachings that rely on conservative Christian principles, some of which can be perceived as extreme. I think this is the group I was just thinking of when I mentioned the previous article, that they might be related. I'm not sure. Like, these two groups or sets of ideologies. I think, like, one of the main problems is that they are one of those religions where they preach, like, spare the rod, spoil the child. So they actually preach, like, beating babies. And I believe one of their principles is, like, you're supposed to put your baby on, like, a blanket surrounded by toys on the outside of the blanket. And if they reach for a toy, you hit them. And then it teaches them to never leave the blanket. And then it's, like, teaching them obedience and to also never step out of line. Really scary. On her TikTok and Instagram, Hunter explains the strict rules she grew up with and how she eventually realized her family was part of what she says is a cult. Hunter was abandoned by her biological parents when she was 3 years old and spent several years in and out of foster homes. It's really sad. Once her new parents took her in at 9 years old, they raised her with rigid IBLP-endorsed restrictions.
Since I mentioned that I grew up in a cult, I guess I've turned into cult TikTok. So I'm gonna explain the kind of cult I grew up in and what some of the basic ideas behind it were. When I was 10, I was adopted by a family that was deeply immersed in the ATI Basic Life Principles cult run by Bill Gothard that was made famous by the Duggars. Everyone in the cult went through the Basic Life Principles.
Okay, that one disappeared. I'm sorry. That might be the same video. I don't know. She was 22 when she enrolled in Bob Jones University, a non-denominational Christian school in South Carolina that has been ranked as the country's most conservative college. During her sophomore year, through therapy, she realized she was raised in a cult. I did not know I was in a cult until I was a sophomore in college. Oh my God, what are words? In college, and I was talking to my therapist. She said in another clip, I was explaining that my parents used the Duggar buddy system to discipline me and my sister. I really hate when articles do this. They, like, state what the person said in dialogue, and then they just restate their dialogue. Like, you're wasting both of our time here. If it weren't bad enough that my parents were having me parent my younger sister, when my younger sister fought against it and would refuse to hang out beside me, my parents got a rope and tied us together, Hunter said. When I told that story to my therapist, she looked at me and said, Elizabeth, not only is that child abuse, but your parents are a part of a cult. And it just dawned on me, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. A year after coming to her first revelation, she also came to terms with her sexuality and came out as gay. She was outed by her college and nearly kicked out during her senior year, which led her to sue the Federal Department of Education for allowing legal discrimination at Christian schools. The lawsuit remains ongoing. That's so sad to me. Like, she must have, I don't know, she must have found so much within that school by, like, getting away from the group and then also, you know, having that support system with a therapist from the school or within the school is what it sounded like, and then the school kicked her out. It's just terrible. Hunter has since broken away from the IBLP and is now working in TV news as a writer and digital creator. Her first novel, Hearts of Clay and Tempest, a retelling of The Little Mermaid, will be released on June 14th. Oh, it's coming up. She continues to share insights into her traumatic childhood and subsequent recovery to help others through their hardships. Hunter also speaks out about the dangers of rehoming. When she went to enroll her sister in public school, she learned she had been rehomed and was never legally adopted by the people she calls her parents. My legal guardians drove me up to a home. Oh, so that's why she ended up in this group. She was illegally placed with this family in the cult. Okay. She was never legally adopted by the people she calls her parents. My legal guardians drove me up to a home, unloaded my one backpack full of things, and drove off, she said. For the rest of my life, I believed I was adopted by my mom and dad. I told people that. I thought they were my parents. 9-year-old me thought I was adopted. When I was rehomed at age 9 and thought I was adopted, within 2 weeks, my parents told me I had asked to call them mom and dad, she said. I remember being so happy that somebody wanted to be my mom and dad because from the ages of 3 to 9, everyone told me very plainly, I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. And these were the first people who were like, yeah, you can call us mom and dad. So it's hard to let go of that. And even though I thought they were abusive and wrong in many ways, she explained, I know that they still loved us, even though they did not do right by us completely. And they're the only parents I have. I mean, that's absolutely heartbreaking. I hope that she gets something out of that school that kicked her out, and I hope she's doing well now. And her TikTok is that Liz Hunter. Okay, last one. I wasn't going to read this whole thing, but I've only been on for 27 minutes, so I've been going pretty fast, so we'll see. This is On the Sun by Imogen Braddock again. Which article did she do? I forget, but yeah, I already read one of her articles. So thank you, Imogen, for your occult news. Bloody Murders. Manson cult serial killer who wrote Death to Pigs in Victim's Blood set to be freed after 50 years in jail. A Manson cult serial killer who wrote Death to Pigs in one of her victims... I just read that exact sentence. Thank you, Imogen. Patricia Krenwinkel, 74, was previously denied parole 14 times for the horrific murders of pregnant actor Sharon Tate and 4 other people in 1969. And that's her in the middle there. This is her recently... and it says Patricia Krenwinkel, now 74, has been recommended for parole. So that means she's getting out. A picture of actress Sharon Tate, who was killed by Krenwinkel. Krenwinkel was one of the notorious Manson family cult led by Charles Manson, who preached a bizarre philosophy incorporating Christianity, Scientology, and the hippie movement. She was a 19-year-old secretary living with her older sister when she met the 33-year-old Manson at a party in the 1960s. On August 8, 1969, Manson ordered 4 of his bloodthirsty disciples, Susan Atkins, Linda Kasabian, Krenwinkel, and Charles Tex Watson, to the Beverly Hills address of movie actress Tate with the instruction to kill everyone in the house. As well as Tate, who was married to director Roman Polanski and pregnant with his child, they murdered 4 other people at the property that fateful night. Less than 24 hours later, the deadly gang, plus Leslie Van Houten and Steve Clem Grogan, savagely tortured, murdered, and mutilated wealthy LA couple Rosemary and Lino LaBianca. Krenwinkel stabbed LaBianca in the stomach with a fork, then took a rag and wrote Helter Skelter, Rise, and Death to Pigs on the walls with his blood. Manson and his accomplices were all sent down for the murders, apart from Kasabian, who testified against them and played no direct part in the killings. A parole panel in California has now recommended the release of Krenwinkel for the first time in 5 decades. The parole recommendation will be reviewed by the State Parole Board's legal division before likely going to Governor Gavin Newsom for a decision within 5 months. So it's not decided yet if she's getting out. He previously rejected parole recommendations for other followers of Charles Manson who died in prison in 2017. Since Krenwinkel was last denied parole in 2017, new laws now require the panel to consider she committed the murders at a young age and is now an elderly prisoner. Krenwinkel's attorney Keith Watley said the relatives of her victims provided the same objections at the hearing as prosecutors have in the past. He said, "She's completely transformed from the person she was when she committed this crime, which is all that is supposed to take to be granted parole. I'm hopeful that the governor recognizes that he shouldn't be playing political games with people's lives." The governor would be blocking her parole not because he's afraid of her, but because he doesn't like her, and the law doesn't allow that. Krenwinkel is currently behind bars at the California Institution for Women east of Los Angeles. The youngest member of Charles Manson's killer cult was also set to be freed from prison in 2019 after a parole board deemed her suitable for release. Leslie Van Houten was serving life for her role in the gang's infamous murder spree when she was aged just 19. It comes as the luxury hilltop mansion on the same lot where the Grizzly Manson murders took place went on the market in January for $85 million. Known as the Cielo Estate, the 9-bedroom, 18-bathroom pad belongs to Full House creator Jeff Franklin. Franklin originally purchased the house for $6 million in 2007, though it was not yet completed, having been demolished following the 1969 murders. The sprawling property, which sits on 3.6 acres of land, was rebuilt and given a fresh start by architect Richard Landry. The home spans 21,000 square feet and boasts incredible views of Los Angeles, coming complete with an infinity pool, home cinema, spa, gym, and even a hair salon. Another mansion where the Manson family murdered Leno and Rosemary LaBianca secured a buyer who paid below the $2.2 million asking price. There's Manson, there's the 3 women who were part of the murders, and yeah, it's kind of an anticlimactic ending there. I don't know why they included that like real estate listing, but yeah, I think everyone's like pretty familiar with the Manson story. I didn't want to read like a super long article about that because I personally am like sick of hearing about Charles Manson. So yes, I did read a really good book about I think fictionalized take on it called The Girls, and yeah. But yes, so if you would like, come see me on the Wikipedia channel shortly. I'm gonna take a break. It's very hot in here. I'm gonna go have something to eat, and yeah, then I will be live drawing and chatting a bit, and we'll listen to some royalty-free music on the Wikipedia channel. So I hope to see you there, and I will see you next time for Cult News. Thanks for watching.